Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Before we begin our class today, let us spend 1 minute as a mark of respect for our soldiers who died on the China border, and for those who are seriously ill, who are undergoing treatment, and for the families of all of them. Let us sit in silence and pray for 1 minute.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thanks, Venkatesh. Ever since we got the news from yesterday afternoon, it has been disturbing me very much. I was giving some time to reflect in the context of the Bhagavad Gita that we have been studying. What is the meaning of all this? The picture that you're seeing is one of the beautiful scenes of Ladakh. And those who have been to all these places know that looking at this place is absolute Vishwarupa Ishvara Darshan. You see creation in its absolute splendor and an absolute beauty. Let us sometimes, when there is some suffering, when there is some very unpleasant news, you wonder about how can a good God allow all these things to happen? What is our understanding of God? When there is a beautiful creation in front of us, our logical mind says there must be a creator. And what kind of a creator? This creation is so vast, it is so wonderful. So the creator must be somebody who is really all-powerful, omnipotent, omniscient, who knows everything. But then we are not able to see this God around us. And so we go to our Puranas who give a description of Rama, Krishna, Hanuman, Devi, and we project all these ideas about God. And then we make our reference, we make our reverence. But when things don't make meaning, when things go beyond our control, we begin to wonder why a good God allows so much suffering to happen. That is where we turn to our scripture, that is where we turn to Bhagavad Gita, and we really understand that this idea of Eka Rupa Ishvara does not explain everything. Let us come to the whole theme of Vishwarupa Ishvara Darshan, which started in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. In the 7th chapter, Krishna begins to introduce straightaway to Arjuna, I will introduce my real self as two aspects, as para and apara, which will come again in the 13th chapter as Kshetra and Kshetrajna, where Krishna very clearly explains whatever you can see and experience with all your sense organs becomes the apara or Kshetram, that includes the body and mind. And the one who is observing all this is the para prakriti, is the Kshetrajna. Krishna gives so many beautiful verses which we need to meditate at these moments, where he says, Mattaha parataram nanyat kinchidanti dhananjaya, my sarvam idam protam sutre manigana eva. If you want to see me, see in the creation. I am, make yourself sensitive. Have those divine eyes. Through this process of divinization, you will see I am in and through everything. You know, when you stand probably in your terrace and look around the world, you will see the trees are in their bliss, the birds are in their own, pleasant ways. The whole world seems to be okay except in my mind. The disturbance is not in Ishvara's creation, the disturbance is in the Jiva's creation. So we need to really worry about, how to put ourselves in order. And that is where we understand from the apara, or from the creation aspect, the world will continue to go as it is. Today, one news, tomorrow, another bad news, based on karma. Karma is absolute when it comes to the apara prakriti. That is why when we are studying from verse 22 to 23, now we undergo into a transition where Arjuna describes his fear because he's seeing all the terrible things that are happening, because this is true Vishwarupa Ishvara Darshana. Now, to be able to understand this, understand that the apara prakriti, the creation in front of you, will go as per the law of karma. The para prakriti, which is the higher you, which is the real you, we have to bring in Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya and see how you can be able to handle yourself as well, and not let things disturb. And let us hope that the government and the respective agencies will handle the situation appropriately, and let us not worry too much about that. Handle ourselves so that we are not disturbed. We continue to function and we are able to understand Ishvara's Vibhuti. Dr. Padma, if you can explain verse 22.
Thank you, sir. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. In chapter 11, verses 15 to 31 are very special verses, for in them we read a description of the Vishwarupa as Arjuna sees it. And we also learn of his response, moving from wonder to fear to reverence and submission. The Vishwarupa of the Lord is all around us. But to have Vishwarupa Darshan, we require the attitude or the perspective to see the universe as a manifestation of the Lord. Swamiji says we can learn to attain this perspective or Divya Chakshu through scriptural study and by training our minds and by moving away from Ahankara and Mamakara. Without Divya Chakshu, we see the world as fragmented, as us and others, as me and mine. It is not a sudden transformation. Arjuna himself went through years of study, disciplined training, self-inquiry, and existential dilemma to reach this point wherein he receives Krishna's grace and begins to see the Lord as the universe, or the universe as the Lord. Reading about the perspective to see Vishwarupa reminded me of a 16th century saint from Karnataka called Kanakadasa and his philosophical song, Ni Maye Yolago, in which he asks Krishna, Bayalu Alayadalago, Alayavu Bayalolago, Bayalu Alayaveredu Nayanadolago, meaning, is space within the house, or the house within space, or are both space and the house within the seeing eye? Is the eye within the mind, or the mind within the eye? Or are both the eye and the mind within you, Krishna? Coming to today's verse, I shall begin by chanting it. Rudraditya vasavo ye cha sadhya vishveshvino marutashchoshmapascha gandharva yaksha surasiddha sangha vikshante tvam vishimataschaiva sarve. The meaning is Rudras, Adityas, Vasus, Sadhyas, Vishvedevas, the two Ashwins, Maruts, Pitrus, groups of Gandharvas, Yakshas, Asuras, and Siddhas are all looking at you with wonder. The Shabdat and explanation of terms is as follows. Rudra. The 11 Rudras are celestials associated with Shiva. According to the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad,
Padma, you are muted, I think. Just unmute yourself, please.
No, she is not muted, Venkatesh.
Not muted.
She is not muted.
I think we'll go to the next person.
Yes, sir.
And then we can come back to her later on.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm
Lakshmi?
very sorry. There was an internet problem.
Okay, you
Can
can
you
continue.
hear me?
Yes, you can continue, please. Please go ahead.
So do you want me to? Okay, thank you. So I shall do the Shabdarth and explanation of terms. Rudra. The 11 Rudras are celestials associated with Shiva. According to the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the 11 Rudras are represented by 10 vital energies in the body, the Rudra Prana, and the 11th one is the Atma. Aditya. The Adityas are Dvadasha, or 12 in number, and are associated with the sun. A different Aditya shines as the sun in each month of the year. Vasava. The Vasava are the 8 Vasus who represent aspects of nature and include earth, fire, wind, water, sky, moon, and stars. The Rudras, Vasus, and Adityas have special right to receive oblations in rituals. They are all called Hutabuk Devatas. Yecha Sadhya. The Sadhyas are a group of Devatas referred to in the Rig Veda. Also known as the spirits of the sky, they convey the prayers of the devotees to the Lord. Vishwe.
There is an issue. We'll ask her to conclude toward the end of the class.
Yes.
Dr. Padma, I think your internet is an issue still. We'll come back later, ask her to conclude later. Lakshmi, can you begin?
Yes, Doctor. Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Can you hear me, Doctor?
Yes, please go ahead.
When Arjuna was blessed with Divya Chakshu, he looks at the universe with a totally different perspective. He goes through several emotional transformation. He goes through 3 levels of transformation. First one is Vismaya, Ascharyam, or wonderment, in seeing the totality which is available all the time. This expression can be seen from verse 15 to 22nd. He sees the world as the manifestation of Lord as Vishvarupa Ishvara. From verse 23rd onwards, Arjuna's response changes. This is the second level of transformation. In the case of Arjuna, he is not totally mature and therefore he is not able to withstand the other aspect of Bhagavan, which represent destruction, diseases, etc. And that Bhayam or fear aspect is described in this verse. So Vishvarupa is as a source of fear for immature, ignorant, and ahankara and mamakara yukta people. So the verse goes like this. Rupam mahate bahuvaktra netram mahabahu mahubahurupadam bahudaram bahudamshra kalaram društva lokaha pravyathita sataham. Since Arjuna was in the battlefield and Mahabharata war was to start soon, it is the destructive principle of Kala which is prominent in the battlefield. So Bahuvakra Netram, which has got countless number of mouths and eyes, infinite in number. In the previous 19th verse, Pashyamitavam Deepta Hutasha Vaktram, which means Lord's mouth was described as a huge conflagration of fire. He sees the mouth, which represents Kala Tattvam, or time principle, swallowing a number of living beings, soldiers, in the battlefield. He gets frightened. So when Bhagavan as Srishti Sthiti Karta, everybody loves. When Lord is Layakarta, people are frightened. So Arjuna happens to see this Layakarta. Bahubahuru Padam, your hands, thighs, feet are many. Mahabaho, or Lord with immense, O Lord with innumerable hands. Bahudara, your stomachs are many, bellies are innumerable. Budamshra, your mouth is glistening with protruding teeth, which is fierce with many tusks. Lokaha pravyatita stata aham. All the people are frightened, so also am I. So when Arjuna sees the cosmic form, it was like a horror movie. Arjuna says the whole world is frightened. Though Arjuna is known for his valor and courage, he has sense of fear. That is going to be described in the first verses. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Nice explanation, because this is the transition verse. From now we see the Laya Karta. Dr. Narayan Murthy, please continue.
Gurubhyo Namaha. Navasprusham deeptam anekavarnam vyaktanam deepta vishalanetrim drishtva hitvam pravyatidantama vindhavishamam Vishnu. And the sight of Vishwarupa, Arjuna gets frightened, loses his mental poise and composure.
Not clear, Dr. Murthy.
Sir, I think he keep him unmuted as well as Sudhaji also unmuted. Just one of them, then it would be better.
Please do so, because your internet is not clear. Yeah.
Okay, doctor. He can speak from my this.
Yeah.
Start again. Am I audible now?
Yeah, very clear. Go ahead.
Navasprusham deeptam anekavarnam vyaktananam deepta vishalanetram drishtva hitvam pravyatidantaratma dhrutim na vindami shamancha Vishnu. At the sight of Vishwarupa, Arjuna gets frightened, loses his mental poise and composure. Pravyatidantaratma and dhrutim na vindami. Why Arjuna is frightened? What is the root? What is the origin? What is the source of fear in general? Fear of what? Fear of losing relationships, fear of losing positions, fear of losing health, fear of old age. Fear is because of ahankara and mamakara, ragadvesha and kama krodha. So what is the solution? We have to get rid of these negative traits in us. Means we have to become Shuddha Sattvaha, Sattva Buddhi. How do you do that? By Karma Yoga, which leads to Chitta Shuddhi. So one should go through the regular process of acquiring Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, Viveka.
We have unusual problems today. Dr. Dr. Murthy? Not clear. I think we'll
Sudha, maybe if you switch off yours and let Dr. Murthy speak on his. Only one person.
Yeah. On phone only. The different, but he is not able to. He had no, again that time shifted. Now is it okay?
Hello. Am I audible now?
Not very clear. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. In true Vairagi, free from all the above mentioned doshas. Here, our Arjuna.
Lot of disturbance, sir.
Dr. Murthy, we'll have to go to the next. We'll try come back later. We'll hope. So Dr. Srinivas, Your time, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, is the voice clear?
Very clear. Go ahead.
Damstra karalani chate mukhani, dastvaiva kalanala sannibhani, disho najane nalabecha sharma, pasida devesha jagannivasa. So let us see the meaning of each word and the grammar here. Damstra karalani. Damstra means fangs or tusks. Danta means teeth. So damstra means fangs or huge tusks, Karalani means bhayanakani or paishachikani. We have this word in Telugu and Kannada also. Karala and Nritya is sometimes we use. The same word is there here also. So that is Damstra Karalani means dangerous, bhayanaka fangs. Cha means and. Te. Te means here yours. Tava. This te has multiple usages, sir. I have posted in the group also. So here, Yushmat Shabdaha, we take Sasti Vibhakti. So when we say Namaste, there also we have Namaha plus te. That is in the sense of Chaturthi Vibhakti. So Namaha to you. Whereas here it is yours. Te, it is used in Sasti Vibhakti. We have te in Sahatau te, Sa te, Taha, Tat te, Tani. So when we, here also te comes. So we should use it according to the we should take the meaning according to the context. So that is about te. Then mukhani. Mukhani in Sanskrit, mukham means mouth, whereas vadanam is face. So we have Chaturmukha Brahma. That means Brahma with 4 mouths, not Brahma with 4 faces. Then that's what we usually think. So from each mukham of Brahma, each Veda has come out. That's the meaning of mukhani. Društva eva. Društva eva can be split into Društva eva. Društva eva means just by looking at that bhayanaka mouth. So that's the meaning of here. Just by looking at that mouth. So I'm losing peace. That's what he's going to tell. Kala anala sannibhani. Kala means time. Anala means Agni. That is fire. So here, how this word is developed is, alam means enough. Alam means saku. That's the meaning of alam. Whereas this fire, it keeps asking more and more. If you are doing homa, the more you put, the more it keeps on burning. So it is opposite of the word alam. So it is analam. So analam means fire. Anila means vayu. So kalanala sannibhani. Sannibhani means sadrushani, like that. We have this word in Samkshepa Ramayanam also. Kalagni sadrusha. When Rama gets angry, so he becomes like a Kalanala sadrushani. So he is so much angry like that of the Pralaya Kala Agni, like that. That's how it's described. Disho na jane. So in this here means Disho means directions. Na jane means I am not able to make out what is the directions. Na labecha sharma. Sharma means peace. So I am not able to get peace. Here Sharma is used, many of the it's used as the name of people like Krishna Sharma, Rama Sharma, like that it's there. So in that it is Sharma. There is a dirgha in that. Sharma means one who is always happy. So whether he has money or not, whether he has power or not, he is internally happy. Or the one who is always happy. So here Nalabhecha Sharma. Nalabhe, I am not able to get peace. Prasida means Prasanno Bhava. Prasanno Bhava. Be gracious to me. That's the meaning of Prasida. Devesha. Devesha means Deva plus Isha. It's a Gunasandhi here. Lord of Lords or Isha of Lords. Deva plus Isha. Jagannivasa. Jagat plus Nivasa. Abode of the universe. That means home of the universe. Where whole universe resides in you. That's the meaning of this word Jagannivasa. So basically what we have 3 words in this. Prasida is the main Kriya Padam. Prasida is used in the form of Lot Lakaram, that is Sida, Sidatam, Sidatar. So Krishna, the Arjuna is addressing to Krishna. Prasida means be gracious unto me. Najane, Nalabe. These are the secondary Kriya words. He is using it in the first person. That is Jane, Janivahe, Janimahe, Labhe, Labhavahe, Labhamahe. These are the total 3 Kriya Padas. So here, what he's telling is, by seeing at the dangerously looking crusts, which are looking like the Pralaya Kala Agni, so he has lost directions, he has lost peace, and he is then, after losing this, he is requesting the Lord to be gracious unto him. So the meaning is how to here initially. Then it is converted into a sense of fear, and from that fear, a sense of bhakti bhava is able to acquire that bhakti bhava. So Arjuna, we know, is a rajoguna sampannaha. So he does not have the sattva guna. So whereas we find that some of the rishis were happily going into the mouth of the Lord. So some people were afraid, some people were happy. So those people who have understood the nature of the Lord are happy to go with him, whereas Rajoguna people and Tamoguna people are not happy. So this is an indication that we should shift over from Tamoguna to Rajoguna, Rajoguna to Sattva-guna, and from then to Gunatita stage. So the Arjuna being, he is asked to comprehend such a vast field. So suddenly with that he is unable to apprehend or comprehend such a vast field. He is losing his composture, and he is telling, I am losing my sense and I am losing my directions. So in this state where the ego is being dropped down, the bhakti bhava is coming up. So this is the way we also should, when praying for the God, we should completely lose our ego and then pray to the God. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Srinivas. As usual, we enjoy the way you explain these verses from the linguistic word meaning as well as the grammar involved. We go to Indumati. Please go ahead.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Amichatvam dhritarashtrasya putraha sarve sahaivavani pala sanghaihi bhishmo drona suta putras tatasau sahasmadiyairapi yodha mukhyaihi. All these sons of Dhritarashtra, along with hosts of kings of the earth, Bhishma, Drona, and the son of the charioteer Karna, along with the prominent warriors of ours, are entering you, says Arjuna. Sarveja ami putraha Dhritarashtrasya. All these sons of Dhritarashtra, saha eva avanipala sanghaihi, along with hosts of kings of the earth, Bhishma, Drona, Tata Asau Suta Putraha, Bhishma, Drona, and the son of the charioteer Karna, Saha api Yodha Mukhyaihi, along with the prominent warriors Asmadiyaihi of ours, or Twam, they're all entering into your mouth. Arjuna observes that all names and forms enter in haste into Krishna's mouth. He watches all the sons of Dhritarashtra entering precipitately into the yawning mouth of the principle of destruction in nature. The vision which he saw was in fact a peep into the future. He sees the past merging with the present and moving forward to mingle with the entire future. It is like when I have the entire Gita book before me, I can either read the preceding 2 pages or can skip over them and read the 3rd page ahead, or according to my will and desire, continue reading this very same page. Similarly, when the whole universe is brought at once within the compass of Arjuna's vision, he could see herein at one gaze all the here and the there and the everywhere, so too the past, the present, and the future. Now, Arjuna is getting a zoom vision of the Lord's mouth. Remember, here Lord's mouth is symbolic of Kalam. The job of Kalam, the mouth, is to keep on swallowing things. Kalo Jagat Bhakshakaha, Lakshmi Stoya Taranga Bhanga Chapala Vidyut chalam jivitam kalaha. That is Jagat Bhakshakaha. Param Puja Param says, be ready to get over the fear of old age, disease, and death by understanding that these are all integral part of life. The more we try to avoid, the more frightening it will be. Better you meditate upon that aspect and understand that and get out of it. Many people are entering into the mouth of Lord. We should remember here, the whole Vishwarupa Darshana is Mahabharata battlefield, and Arjuna is going to start the war, and in a battle, thousands of people have to die. Who are all entering? Dhritarashtrasya putraha, indicating they are going to be destroyed very soon. Amihi, who are right in front of me. There is no verb in this verse. In the next verse, we see Vaktrani Vishanti, means they are entering your mouth. Dhritarashtrasya putraha Vaktrani Vishanti. Not only Kauravas are entering, I see many warriors from our side also. Sarve Sahaiva Avanipala Sanghaihi. Avanipala Sanghaihi. In olden days, there were small kingdoms and each kingdom had a king. Each one of them had a powerful weapon, and in one such weapon, hundreds and thousands could die. Therefore, Arjuna says, Sahaiva, simultaneously, hundreds and thousands are entering your mouth. The tragedy is, Arjuna could not accept the death of Bhishma, Drona and others. He could not even imagine. So he was trying to avoid. But here in Vishwarupa Darshana, he is seeing the death of all those near and dear ones. So what is most important here is to accept the fact. It is a fact of life which we refuse to accept, and so the life becomes miserable. Sri Krishna had said in chapter 2, Tasmat apariharyette natvam shochitum arhasi. Intelligence is learning to accept choiceless situations in life. As long as we cannot accept this, life will be miserable. So true education is to accept life as it is. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Indumati. Nice explanation. We enjoyed listening to you. Colonel Vijay.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Hari Om. Vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti damastra karalani bayanikani kechid vilangana dashantareshu santrishyante churnater utmangayah. This verse is a continuation of a verse 26 presented by Indu Madam. In this verse, Arjuna narrates two aspects. One, the aspect of fear by saying, Te Viktrani, your mouth, Bayanakani is very fearful because of Dharmastra Kanalani, the fearful teeth and fangs. The second aspect Arjuna explains is the status of the jivas entering the celestial mouth of Bhagavan. He says, all the persons are seen entering your mouth, Vishanti, means entering the mouth, and that too haste, Tvaramanaha. They are rushing into the mouth. Swamiji explains this aspect by giving an example of a python snake. He says that the python keeps its mouth open and the prey just walks into it before it snaps it shut. Similarly, the people are entering Bhagavan's mouth. Of all those people entering the mouth, Kechid, some of them are caught Vilanganaha, between the gap of the teeth. The Shantareshu means gaps of the teeth. The meaning are Churitaha, powdered, including Uttamangaya. Angaya means body. Uttamangaya means the most important part of the body, that is the head. And Sandrishtante means I saw. So Arjuna says that he saw the skulls being powdered. To summarize, they are rushing to enter your mouth with fearful fangs and wide open. Some appear with their skulls crushed and stuck between the teeth. This gruesome sin serves to remind us the ephemerality, the temporary nature of the material world, comprising solely of the Nama Rupa, names and forms. If Ishvara can create variety of names and forms in the pleasant form, he can also dissolve the variety in his terrible form. Another intriguing aspect of this shloka is that Ishvara's cosmic form is not going after all the warriors. In fact, they themselves are rushing into the mouth. It reinforces the message given by the Lord Krishna earlier. Ishvara does not favor or hate anyone. Every individual creates his own destiny by the fruit of his choices and action. Thank you, sir. Hari Om.
Thank you, Colonel Vijayan. That was another nice explanation, explaining each word. We go to the next speaker, Dr. Sheila.
Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sir, you are able to hear me?
Very clear. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yata nadinam bahu ambuvegaha samudrameva bimukta dravanti tatha tavani naraloka viraha vishanti vaktranya abhivijwalanti. Here we have already been talking about this the mouth and the blazing mouth and all. Let us little bit more in this verse. Here, Vishwarupa Darshana involves accepting Bhagwan as Sriti, Srishti, Sthiti and Laya Karanam. All these three should be accepted and assimilated. As you all know, the third cosmic function is being shown to Arjuna, that is Laya Swarupa of Kala Tattvam. In this and in the next verse, Arjuna is giving two examples for this Kala Tattvam. Let us go into the Pada Artha. Yata, just as Bahava Ambu Vegaha. Bhavaha is many. Ambu Vegaha is streams or tributaries. Nadinam is rivers. And Samudra Meva Abhimukha Dravanti. Dravanti is rushing or gushing. Abhimukha, that is towards. Samudra, that is ocean. So just as many streams of rivers are gushing towards the only one destiny, that is ocean, in the same way, Tata, Ami Naraloka Viraha. Viraha is warriors or brave men of Naraloka. Naraloka is earth or Bhuloka. Api Vishanti Vatrani. Vishanti, as we said earlier, that is entering. Vatrani is mouth. What type of mouth? Abhi Vijwalanti, that is Abhi all round. Vishesha, V is Vishesha, very powerful. And Jwalanti is blazing. So the great warriors of earth are entering the blazing mouth in the same way as rivers are rushing into the ocean. Now, let us see. The Laya is, it is not a total destruction. It is a resolution or dissolution. So what is that? It is the Karyam resolving into the Karanam. Swamiji very well explains all these things. It should be remembered, time and space are an integral part of creation. That is a property of creation and cannot be separated from the creation. Time and space arise along with the creation, and it is not conceived once the creation is resolved. The best example is our sleep experience. When the whole world is resolved in deep sleep state, the objects are resolved and we do not experience time and space also. And again, when we wake up, either to the dream world or to the waker's world, along with the creation, time and space also come. From this, we understand time and space are an intrinsic property of creation. So, this invisible, all-pervading, integral Kala Tattvam is symbolized as the mouth of Lord. Like all the rivers which gets resolved in the ocean, it is not only the soldiers, but the whole lot of all living beings have to be ultimately resolved, because life is nothing but avyakta avastha, that is an unmanifest form, and vyakta avastha, that is manifest form or the creation. So what is that? Just as the water gets evaporated from the ocean, it becomes clouds and the rain, and then again it becomes river and enters into the ocean. So we come and go back to the Lord again, and according to our karmas, we have punarapi jananam and punarapi maranam. So this very course of life is depicted by this river example. So how to go, now it is not there in this verse, how to go beyond this punarapi jananam and punarapi maranam, or become a kalatita, that is beyond kala tattvam, is by jnanam. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sheila, for giving a solution to the problem, because all of us are experiencing this terrible vision of all the soldiers being crushed by the mouth of Krishna. And through our jnanam, we need to understand, as you said, whether we can take it as laya, as sleep. Death could be as a laya, or we have to use jnanam to say whether this could be mithya. And there is something higher, and that is called the satya. And whatever happens in the mithya world should not affect the satya me. That is one of the only ways through jnanam we will be able to handle the terrible things that are happening around us. Panaga for the last verse for today.
Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Yatha pradiptam jvalanam patanga vishanti nashaya samruddha vegaha tathaiva nashaya vishanti lokaha tavapi vaktrani samruddha vegaha. In this verse 29, Arjuna gives another example of how he sees living beings rushing towards the fiery mouth of the Lord. Patangaha, meaning insects, jvalanam vishanti, are entering the flame, which is pradiptam, blazing. And for what purpose are these insects entering the mouth? Nashaya, to be destroyed. And how are they entering? Samruddha vegaha, with increased speed. Tathaiva, similarly, lokaha tava vaktrani vishanti. All living beings are entering your mouth only with samruddha vegaha, increased speed. For those of us who have used oil lamps, we would have seen flies and insects drawn to the flame. They either get burnt or fall in the oil and die. Now, of course, most of us have seen the bright UV light insect catchers. They're kept at restaurant entrances to attract insects. Just like how these insects unknowingly fly towards their end, all of us are headed towards our own destruction too, the destruction of our body-mind complex. Our days in our current lifetime are numbered, and every day spent brings us closer to our end. These verses emphasize that the Kala Tattvam or Laya is an integral part of Vishwarupa, as integral as Srishti and Sthiti. Arjuna, who was in the battlefield just before the start of the bloody Kurukshetra war, sees more of destruction rather than the beautiful process of creation. All his gurus and thousands of soldiers, various kings, the Kauravas, everyone is racing into the blazing mouth of Krishna's Vishwarupa. Arjuna is particularly affected by witnessing Dronacharya and Bhishmacharya's death. Likewise, we are also deeply affected by the death of those we love. Our intense emotional attachment to them makes it impossible to believe that they can leave us forever. Perhaps that's the most frightening aspect of death, that it can never be reversed, unlike an illness that can be cured. Lord Krishna says the only way out of this emotional abyss is to shift our focus to the permanent, the indestructible Atma. The Atma is our only refuge where Desha and Kala are absent. Atma Sharanagati, Atma Gnanam can alone free us from this perpetual cycle of bondage. Until we attain this Atma Gnana, we have to learn to accept everything in the world as Mangala, birth and death, creation and destruction, as they complement and follow each other like sunrise and sunset. Accepting one while rejecting the other will lead to a lot of fear and sorrow. In fact, there are several tribes around the world which celebrate death. The Satya community in Rajasthan mourns the birth of a child because they believe that birth brings with it all the problems of samsara, while death liberates them, reuniting the soul with God. There's this famous quote from the Dalai Lama. When he was questioned about what surprised him about humanity, he said, Man sacrifices his health to earn wealth, then he sacrifices his wealth to regain his health, and then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present, the result being that he neither lives in the present nor the future. He lives as if he is never going to die, and then dies having never really lived. The key phrase is having never really lived. That's what we should be more afraid of. Therefore, like Sir says, the greatest gift we have is this present moment. Let us strive to dwell in the eternal Atma, appreciate the Lord's Vibhuti everywhere, and when the final moment comes, accept it with grace, for it too is an act of the Lord Himself. Swamiji gives the example of Markandeya who defeats death. Markandeya is the son of Mrikandu, a great rishi and a descendant of Bhrigu. Shiva blesses Mrikandu that he will get a very intelligent son, Markandeya, but he will only live for 16 years. On his 16th birthday, Lord Yama promptly arrives and tries to drag Markandeya. Markandeya hugs the Shivalinga and refuses to let go. At this moment, Shiva emerges out of the linga and grants immortality to Markandeya. Similarly, we have to embrace the Mrityunjaya Shiva inside us, the Atma, if we want to escape from the clutches of Yama and the cycle of life and death. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Panaga. That was really wonderful. Nice explanation of the verse and a nice solution to the problems of the world, especially the ability to accept Laya Karta to Brahma Jnanam through the understanding of Mithyatvam of the world, through Satyatvam of Ishvara. Dr. Padma, can you conclude your presentation? I hope your internet is okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And my apologies to everyone for the bad internet connection. So verse 22 is about the Maruts, Rudras, Vishwe, Vasus, Sadhyas and Ashwins, who are the Vedic deities, while the Gandharvas, Yakshas, Asuras are celestial beings associated with music and nature. They were familiar to Arjuna since he would have studied about them and even prayed to them. And so all of them, Sarve, Vikshante Tvam, looking at the Lord, Vismitaha, with wonder. They're all gazing at the Vishwarupa in wonderment. Swami Param reminds us that the Vishwarupa came into being the moment the world was manifested. Because the world is Vishwarupa, and therefore the availability of Vishwarupa is universal. If we cannot see it, it is because of our limitations, our ahankara and mamakara, not because God has made it unavailable to us. I would like to end with the words of another poet, words which could possibly describe the Vishwarupa. In the late 18th century, William Blake wrote, "To see the world in a grain of sand, heaven in a wild flower, to hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour." Thank you and Hari Om.
Thank you. Very nice that we got to listen to you conclude in such a poetic and a nice manner, Dr. Padma. We'll go to Dr. Murthy. Dr. Murthy, please.
Hello, am I audible now?
Very clear. Go ahead.
Yeah. In continuation, I was just trying to find out the reason for our Arjuna getting frightened. Here, our Arjuna, who is our representative, has not gone through the normal process of acquiring sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Lord Krishna gifted him with Jnana Chakshu for the time being only. Arjuna's mind is still not well refined and sensitized. That's why he is frightened. He loses his mental poise and composure at the sight of Vishwarupa. Initially, Arjuna is struck with wonder, then he is struck with fright. He describes the Vishwarupa as the body of the Lord touching the sky. Oh, again it is gone. Okay. Deepta Maneka Varnam. The eyes are fiery, mouth is wide open, Vyaptananam. Then he goes on describing the mouth as the blazing fire, which represents Playagni, representing Kalatattvam. So the way to become fearless is develop dispassion. Dispassion born out of Viveka, a proper understanding, proper attitude, bhavana, which leads to surrender, meaning the true harmony between personal free will and dharma, meaning universal principles of harmonious living. Hari Om. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Murthy. I'm so glad that both of you could conclude your explanation. Thanks to all the speakers who made a nice presentation, especially the very difficult part, the Laya Karta part, and also the understanding of how through Jnanam we are able to insulate ourselves and at the same time appreciate Vishwarupa's, the glory of Vishwarupa even in as Laya Karta. With that, we conclude today's class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhak Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.